The United Kingdom is set to overhaul its asylum seeker policy in a bid to tackle illegal migration. Home Secretary Shabana Mahmoud revealed the proposed changes, which include making refugee status temporary and narrowing the appeal process in asylum cases. Dr. Chelvan is the head of Immigration, Public Law and Civil Liberties at 33 Bedford Row in London and joins us now. Chelvan, tell us, what are some of the more controversial features of the Home Secretary's reforms?
Well, good evening, Yvonne. I think what's really important, what I tell all my refugee clients, is that the United Kingdom will still afford asylum. But the issues now here, the battle's going to be in the House of Commons and the House of Lords with bills of parliament which are going to be introduced, which are going to try to tackle the issues of asylum support, family reunion and refugee review. But importantly, whilst Parliament is supreme, the courts will review. So we're going to see many months of very heated debates in our Parliament, and then many more months and even years of court cases here in our British courts by British judges and possibly the European Court of Human Rights.
Has there been much support for the reforms within the Home Secretary Shabana Mahmoud's party?
Well, I'm not a political commentator. I comment on the law, but from what I can see is that there's lots of splits already in relation to certain comments, and clearly as a barrister, I'm not going to share those comments as my own. The most important thing is that the United Kingdom signed and ratified the 1951 Refugee Convention in 1952. For 70 years, we did not attach the terms of illegal or criminal to those coming to the UK undocumented to claim asylum. It's only been from the 28th of June 2022, with the coming into force of Section 40 of the National Borders Act 2022, do we start putting the labels of criminal and illegal to refugees claiming asylum, noting that between 70 to 80% of those who come to the UK, including those who come to small boats, are genuine refugees. So that's what's toxified the debate here in the United Kingdom, when the general public, who may not know the complexities of refugee and asylum law, are being told that they're coming here illegally, they're flooding our country, they're invading our country, which is completely untrue. I've been working in the field for over 25 years, and I can tell you that those people come to the UK because of community, family life, but family links, but importantly, they come for safety, not settlement.
Tell us a bit more about public sentiment in the UK over migration. Those who support the reform say that they address the concerns.
Well, as I said, I can only look at it from a legal perspective. Now, let's look at the history of the previous Labour administration. Under Gordon Brown, refugees were actually given settlement when they were granted refugee status, indefinite leave to remain. And that was reduced to 5 years leave to remain, which is the current leave to remain given to refugees. There was no reduction in numbers. So I do not think that will stop the people coming to the UK. But importantly, we need to look at the barriers. These are people who are seeking safety. That's the most important thing. And the United Kingdom has a historic debt to a lot of these countries, especially the Commonwealth. I work with lesbian, gay and bisexual and trans clients, and a lot of the laws which are enforced on them in these countries of origin are exported British colonial laws. So there's a different relationship when you compare and contrast what's happened in Denmark. Now, the 20-year route for settlement by the United Kingdom makes it the most draconian in Europe. It's far more than the 8 years in Denmark. And the introduction of family reunion, where individuals will only be able to seek the reunification with their family, noting that the Refugee Convention doesn't require family reunion, but it promotes family unity, will ensure that more people will make the dangerous journey to the UK as a family unit rather than separately. But what I'm looking forward to is tomorrow, the Home Secretary is supposed to announce legal routes to come to the UK to claim asylum. Up to 2011, September, there was a policy where an individual refugee could go to their neighbouring country and go to the British High Commission or embassy and claim asylum. So I'm looking forward tomorrow as a refugee lawyer to see what the legal routes are to come to the UK to claim asylum. Because what's important, which your viewers will know, or should know, is that it is not illegal to claim asylum. So the devil's in the detail. Let's see what the Home Secretary comes up with tomorrow.
And of course, as you say, these changes still need to be debated before they come into law. But overall, would you say that it brings the UK closer or further away from the rest of Europe in terms of asylum policy?
Well, there's a bit of a mix. I'm sure you'll be able to know about the change in relation to elections with pro-migrant politicians. So you have Mendami in New York, you have Peter Jurgen in the Netherlands, you have the rise of the Green Party here in the UK. And I think with the right, I think one of your former Prime Ministers, Paul Keating, says a souffle never rises twice. So I'm hoping for that to be with respect to the emergence of the right wing here in the UK and Europe. So what's really important is that the UK has a proud tradition in relation to providing sanctuary. It also has a tradition, for example, in Afghanistan, of interventions in world conflicts. And when you intervene in world conflicts, you have a responsibility, a moral, ethical and legal responsibility that when individuals flee from that country, for example, Afghanistan, and come to the UK to claim asylum, we must grant sanctuary. But the important thing from the UK is that we're not changing the rules in relation to those who genuinely seek sanctuary under the Refugee Convention. There are discussions about the European Convention of Human Rights. One of the issues which the Home Secretary is looking at is trying to get some negotiation regarding Article 3 of the Convention, the European Convention, which has involved the prohibition of torture or inhuman, degrading treatment or punishment. And the Home Secretary is trying to divide the definitions between torture on one hand and inhuman, degrading treatment and punishment on the other hand. Now, I know from my own practice that that argument has failed in our courts, in the Court of Appeal recently in February. Now, I don't want to say too much about that at the moment, but this is not an argument which has found favour in the courts. But in all, the UK will still afford asylum to those who come and seek sanctuary.
Dr. S. Chelvan, really good to talk to you tonight. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Yvonne.